It's hot, but folks, we have another fun show for you. This one's going to be bittersweet, but we're going to get to relive some stuff that we like. But I mean, again, it's just me. I can't do this by myself. I need some help. I definitely need help. That's not even a thing. That's probably Java. Java, you're here. Wonderful. Perfect. Look, we've got the show. You already got the background up for it, but we also need Robert. Robert's got to come along. He's got to help us out with this. I don't know. I have the most noticeable doorbell in America. Robert, look, are y'all ready? I'm gonna keep doing that bit. I don't care. It makes me laugh. Are y'all ready to have a bittersweet episode?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
God, you sound like Republicans at that 250 party. Wow, great.
Ooh. Is that eggnog?
No, it's iced chai.
Oh.
Eggnog during the summer. I don't know if I can handle that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be straight honest with you. I'm a grown man.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not judging. I'm just asking. I'm just curious.
I'm just saying the mic ain't equipped for that. Folks, look, we've got the show. Look, lactose has not always been my friend. Look. Folks, we've got a great show for you this evening. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to relive some memories and hopefully have some laughs. And it's Wednesday. So we all know what that means. Not only is it our night, but it's also AEW's night. It's also New Comic Book Day. Happy New Comic Book Day. Happy X-Men 97 Season 2 Day also.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot going on. My goodness. But, Robert, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Java, are you ready?
Me.
Why do you sound like Beaker? Let's start the show. Hey, folks, what's up? And welcome to another episode of our Summer of Geek series here at the Hungry Bleak channel. Thank you so very much for joining us. Let's start the introductions and let's get on with this episode. I am Antonio Pamars, aka the Hungry Bleak, the hungriest man in the room. Take that however you like.
This is Jabba Chan, who is canceled. Not really, but just semi-canceled. No.
I was about to knock all this over and run. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was like, no.
And I am Robert Jeffrey II, aka Rob the Writer.
Yay. I don't know why I do that. I have no idea why. So, Java, what was that, Java? I don't know what that was.
The hands.
I thought you were doing that thing from Saturday Night Live when she was like, and sometimes I smell my fingers and I put one of my hands off some of my fingers. Yes, thank you. Yes, superstar. Thank you. I couldn't remember her name.
It's too hot. Armpits are already sweaty as it is. I'm like, doing that. No.
You're right. So this evening's episode, the topic was from Java. So would you care to let us know what tonight's episode is about, Java?
Okay, so as you can see from my background, I don't know which way I'm going here, but it shows as canceled because we have a lot of good shows, especially for Black shows, that get canceled so quickly, and especially when they leave us at freaking cliffhangers. And it's like, why? And sometimes we don't even get a reason why.
Yeah. Like, you don't need to know. You don't need to know.
Like, we need to, and mind you, it's not like it's like a one show where it's like, oh, only like one person saw. Like, no, like you had like people that had like fandoms, possible watch parties and stuff. So it's like, what happened?
Yeah, that's a fair, I'm not even gonna. I mean, we ain't talking Homeboys Out of Space. Like, we're talking shows that people were getting into. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, they all caught a stray on that one. I'm sorry, y'all caught a stray.
Now the theme song is playing in my head.
I'm saying, like, this ain't like the Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer. That's a deep cut.
Damn.
UPN catching strays right now. I'm sorry.
Take that, UPN. Take that.
Wow, I haven't heard UPN in so long. And
there's a reason why. What they call it at one point? UPN's the black man's friend.
I mean, I can tell you what the acronym. Never mind. No, I don't want us getting canceled if I say what the acronym like. So anyways, but yeah. It was a rough start for the UPN network back.
It was a rough end too. So Robert, that man, and then CW. What's WB? Yeah, that frog. Yeah, we had frog
Mhm.
races too. So Robert, you want to start us off? Everybody from the 90s and 2000s is getting strays right now. I don't care.
Yeah. So since we started with UPN and CW, I mean, I got a connected thread. I gotta try to find something, a little segue. My first choice will be the 400, but it was the 2021 version, basically the reboot of the original series that was on USA. So the 4400 premiered in 2021 on the CW network, and basically it was log line, or the plot line: 4400 overlooked, undervalued, or otherwise marginalized people who vanished without a trace over the last 100 years are all returned in an instant, having not aged a day, with no memory of what happened to them. So I think I've said on the show before, I'm a huge fan of the original series that ran on USA back in the mid 2000s, early to mid 2000s. And when I heard that there was going to be a reboot for the series, I got hyped. I thought maybe it'll be a continuation of the original series, because the original series was actually canceled without a resolution. But this one was its own thing. And one of the things that I got hyped about, which isn't as much as you don't see this in the original show, is that more people that look like me. It was more reflective of the world that we were living in. It was more diverse, behind the scenes, in front of the screen, and it was just a show about superpowered people, of color, who were trying to exist in a world that kind of feared and hated them. So shout outs to X-Men, but it like I said, the cast, I felt, worked really well for the series. We had people who had been abducted from the 1960s, the 1900s. I think that one sister who was a freedom rider. She was a civil rights advocate, and she's now brought back into present day. We had I think a trans brother who was able to live a little bit more freely than he had been living back in Harlem at the height of the Harlem Renaissance. And we even had a brother who was like from a line of big church, mega church, preachers, like a preacher family. So all that mixed in with social and cultural commentary at the height of the a certain administration, and we're focusing on what it would be like to exist in that world with abilities, and following some of the same storylines, but not too many of the original series. I enjoyed it for being a great sci-fi series, and I wish that it had gotten another season to just grow. And the sad thing was, I think it was a part of the transition of the CW, all the scripted series just being canceled. And it was just kind of a part of that kind of chopping block, in addition to, I think the ratings weren't as high as they wanted them to be. But I think if it got in the second season, it would have had a chance to grow. And, but yeah, I enjoyed it. But yeah, definitely check it out. I think it's on, you can rent it, you could stream it, buy the DVD. But yeah, that's my first choice.
I think it's, I want to say that might be on Tubi as well as the original series, I think.
Okay, I'll have to look for it. I'm rewatching the original one right now.
Yeah, because it's random. But whenever in doubt, just go look at Tubi first, and then look at like paid servers. Honestly, Tubi and Pluto TV.
Yeah,
they just random stuff. Yeah, that was one that I never got a chance to get into, because at certain points I kind of left CW alone. So I was like, I got stuff away from y'all, because I don't know what y'all doing. But yeah, that was one that, and to be a legacy series too.
Yeah,
to be chopped, but like you were saying, it was at the end of the CW's scripted series. Even though they keep trying to bring back scripted TV, and they kill everything after like one season on there now. So except NXT.
yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Java? What have you got?
So I'm actually going to switch out one of mine. I was going to use Black Cake, but since we already talked about that in the last episode I'm gonna put in Star. If you guys don't remember Star from our beloved favorite channel, Fox, when it was good. But no, Star was definitely a good show, even though it was kind of like in the same universe as Empire. For anybody that has watched Empire before, they were in the same universe. I liked it, and I will say I did like this how they did it with Empire. Is that like every new song? I guess it's kind of like a thing because Glee did it too. Like every episode, like they would release like this song that was being played for that episode, which I like because some of those songs like on Star, I would have on repeat. Like I have like a whole place like my personal favorites from Star, from like originals to like covers. But also it got to introduce me to new characters that I didn't recognize. Like I didn't know who Luke James was until watching Star. As an actor, I know.
As you would say, the plot thickens.
The plot thickens. But for anybody that hasn't watched Star, pretty much it's about these group of girls. Two of them are sisters. They find refuge down in Atlanta, of course, because that's where everything's at.
Robert took credit for it. He was like, damn right.
Am I wrong? And they look up where they come across because they both had like, singing experience and they want to become like, a girl group. And they find this other girl to join the group who comes from like, riches and royalties. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of dramas going in between, some from the girls, some from like outside, like their own experiences. And the way they ended it off, somebody gets shot, house burns down, and then baby goes missing. And then it's like, all right, well, what happens now?
Whoa.
Damn. God. Hold on. Wait, Jesus. God damn. That's like three cliffhangers by themselves.
That's why fans are pissed, because we only have we have 3 seasons and it's 40 episodes, but there have been rumors of them coming back to do like a special because I follow a few of the actors from the show. So Jude Morissette, who played as Star, the main character, she was the she was a white girl with the blonde hair that everybody made fun of, but she didn't take no ish from nobody. Like she was hood enough. She was doing behind the scenes stuff with Star, and like I said, we haven't seen that because the last time it aired was back in 2019. So it's been a minute.
Yeah,
and like if they come back with like another special just to close off everything, I'd be fine. And I don't know who they're gonna bring back because like some of the titles that you might know, we had Queen Latifah, we had Quincy Brown, we had Brandy, we had Amaya Scott, we had Benjamin Brandt, we had Quincy Brown, if I didn't already say that already, Ryan Destiny, who has been doing other movies as well. Who else? We have Lance Gross, just to name off a few people. So they had a pretty good cast.
Yeah, I remember.
I didn't realize it. Oh, I'm sorry. Like I didn't realize it ran for 3 seasons though.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
48 episodes. Damn. And there was even a cross episode for that and Empire.
Yeah,
I think Empire came over because I think Empire was just about done. So, they were coming over just like to give like an extra little bit of sparkle for whatever they had left from the show on the Star.
Yeah. I remember because we watched the first season of Empire and watched the first episode of the second season and tapped out. But we watched I remember watching a couple of episodes of Star and I enjoyed it. It's been a while since we've had like music focused shows, at least on network TV. So that's that was kind of a special time on Fox, where they were focusing on at least the rap industry and R&B, at least the whole behind the scenes thing. So
that's true. And yeah, I tapped out of Empire. Can't remember which season I tapped out of because at a certain point I was like, yeah, man, I gotta go. I can't. My time is up. I gotta bounce. And then when I saw Star was on, I was like, oh, okay. Then I saw it was Queen Latifah. I was like, oh, Queen Latifah is gonna be on every week. Bet. Like I'm so happy that she's out there, but I never went to get the show to watch it. I believe it's on.
It should be
Hulu?
on Hulu since like it's underneath Fox and
Fox,
Disney owns everything at this point. But if not, check out Pluto TV
There
or
we go.
Tubi. You never know.
Yeah, it might legitimately be on Tubi because I think I've seen Empire and Star on there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And guess
Honestly.
who owns Tubi? Fox.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I actually made it an alternate because you reminded me of something when you were talking about Star. But I'm going to leave that for the end of the show. First one I'm going to come up with is one that hit, and it hit all of us very hard, was Lovecraft Country. Do I even need to explain that one, honestly? Lovecraft Country was, I remember when that came out, it was during the summer. We were well into the pandemic, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that appointment television. It was that Sunday. It was like HBO has had this thing of taking over Sunday nights.
Yes.
They knock you out on Sunday nights. Football. It was either HBO football or Showtime. Showtime was doing stuff on Sunday nights too.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody knew, look, Sunday nights were HBO. Even Saturday evening, sometimes, depending on the movie, could be HBO.
Yeah, because they had the premieres.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Lovecraft Country was this thing that took us all out. When we saw the trailer, everybody was like, bet we're there. There's no doubt about it. I don't care what's going on. We're going to be there. And we were in full. Basically, the story of Lovecraft Country was a young man was going home after being in the war overseas. This was, I want to say this was World War One.
I think so.
Or was it, or was it the Korean?
Second, I think it was a Korean War. Remember, like the later
it was
episodes focuses on.
Yeah.
So,
between that, and then he goes home and he reunites with his childhood friend. What was Journey's now? What's her name? Because it was Tick and
not Letty.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Letty. Yeah, yes. It was Tick and Letty.
Okay.
Come home and they're get thrown into these incredible adventures that have to deal with everything from like dark magic to kind of almost steampunk tech to topics that had to do with gender identity, race, sexuality. This series did all of that under the guise of this incredible horror stories. Some things were horror with monsters, and I mean, some of that stuff was just so.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? The Ugoth? Those dogs?
That I can't remember, but
or was it the Hogoth? I don't know why I just keep putting goth at the end.
You're in the
I'll be honest with you. Between that and then there was so much there. Like I said, some of it was actually monsters and the dark sorcery, and then some of it was just having one of the best low-speed car chases I've ever seen in my life. That was so tension-filled. And I've seen things like the French Connection, Bullet, that were known for their car chases. These epic things and do or die going through the city. And this was basically them trying to leave a sundown town before a certain time while the cops are driving right behind them to make sure that they don't go over the speed limit. That was one of the most tension-filled scenes ever. And it was absolutely incredible. This series did so much. And I remember watching this on Sundays and then also reading Bitter Root because it was coming out at the same time. And that was my delicious sandwich right there of Black people fighting against the horrors of the supernatural world and also race as well, against white people who were trying to kill them, keep them down, what have you at that point. This was a series that was so beloved and so watched and so talked about, and people started groups about it and everything. And the way it ended was as if it was a limited series, but there was a whole Bible, and they had a whole everything where they were going to go with this with the second season. Unfortunately, we did not get that, but we were introduced to or reintroduced to some people, I should say. This was Jonathan Major's big jumping point. Then life happens, I guess. I don't know what happened. Brother just said, ah. We also got Anjanou Ellis, who is always a delight and a treasure and so amazing. And when you look at this series and you look at it, and Tick is supposed to be is always as groomed as the hero as we see it. But it turns out it's not actually Tick who's the hero. It's Letty. And we don't realize this until halfway through the season, but there are little notes in there that show that Tick wasn't the hero. Tick had one of the most homophobic, horrible things he said to his father when he found out that his father was gay in a time when it was bad enough being black. Then you black and you gay? That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see the adventures of Tick and her having these abilities that we didn't know were there burgeoning. And then Anjanou Ellis's character, Hippolyta, going throughout time and having one of the biggest earth-shattering black indie comic moments ever when she said, well, I learned how to draw. I learned from a woman named Afua. I damn near threw my 56-inch TV out the damn door. And we all lost our minds at that. This series broke so many fourth walls for us and looked directly at us, black indie fans, black geek culture, and said, I see you. This is for you, baby. I love you. Take everything that we got here. We don't know if we're going to be getting the second one, let's be honest, but we're going to give everything we got in this first one. And they definitely did. And that series has such a place in my heart. So Lovecraft Country, go check it out. That's on Tubi. I know I've seen that on Tubi. I'm not trying to front for Tubi, but that's been on there. But also, if you have HBO Max, obviously, go check out HBO Max.
Yeah.
That was just a series that knocked us all on our asses. I don't know.
It's a beautiful time. I miss the era of that and Watchmen. It was, we know that Game of Thrones has had a chokehold on Sunday nights, but that period of time, Lovecraft Country and Watchmen, it was beautiful. Going on social media and actually being excited to see what people had to say, at least, for us. But shout out to Misha Green. Shout out to Misha Green and everybody behind that series. I love it. I love Lovecraft Country.
That was oof.
Like, I've only seen clips for Lovecraft Country, but I do have it in my queue to watch. And I know amongst all like my other things that I need to watch is like, I know I need to watch that one, just and not for the plot, just like for the overall story, because I knew you were going to get on me for that, sir.
I honestly think that's a perfect summer watch. There aren't very many series that I'll say, oh, hey, yeah, this is a perfect summer watch. That's a perfect, because that's when it came out. And you feel the heat and everything of the South, like especially right like this week is perfect. I'm just gonna watch it, obviously because it's musty racism hot outside. Like it's like that's how hot it is outside. Like you just feel like somebody about to call you something out your name for real. That's but I definitely would recommend like watch. It's what 8 episodes? I want to say
7 or 8.
Something like that.
Okay,
but when you watch the first one, you'll get pulled into the second one, and you might do like a whole binge watch of it. Truthfully,
it is 10. It's 10 episodes.
It's 10.
Oh, even better.
That's even better.
Yeah,
it's even better. Even better is what's going to be Jabba's next pick.
Okay, so my next pick is we're still going to go with the same network, Fox. Because at one point, like I said, they were good. They were good with their shows. I don't know if you guys have even heard about this one. It's called Our Kind of People. Pretty much it came out back in 2021, and it starred Yaya DaCosta. If you guys are American Next Top Model, remember her from Cycle 3 with Eva Marcel. Either way, I knew her from America's Next Top Model, so I was a fan of hers. She also did Chicago Med, trying to give up other things that she has done. But either way, this show was kind of like my version of Beyond the Gates before Beyond the Gates was even out, because it gave like a soap opera type of drama. Pretty much, Yaya DaCosta's character is a woman whose mother had just passed, and she owned a house not in Atlanta, It's in Massachusetts, okay? In Massachusetts.
Through Rob was like, oh, all right.
You there in Chicago?
No, and this show is pertaining to like pretty much all about hair because as African Americans we are all about our hair in any way, shape, or form. We always get discriminated, but we still love it. We embrace it however we choose to do it. And for Yaya's character, she was trying to open up a shop, but with her being poor, like I think, and if I remember correctly, she also had a daughter or a sister or some type of person, another relative with her coming to her, trying to get everything in order because she was trying to get a whole new life. This was starring with not just only her, Nadine Ellis, Lance Gross once again. We also have Morris Chestnut, and we have Robin Goodwin. Not Robin, sorry, Raven Goodwin. And let's see who else was on here. Trying to look at the whole cast. So quite
Joe
like
Morton was on there.
Huh?
Joe Morton was on there.
Yep.
Damn.
Like I said, it was a stacked up cast, and pretty much it was kind of like, let's say, kind of like a version of like the haves and have-nots. Because one side you see the one side black excellence, and then you see the other ones of struggling, and then of course it's always family secrets, woo, and of course at the end somebody gets shot, we don't know who it is, and then they leave it at that, and it's like,
girl,
it's like, come on, I'm like, I cannot take it, but I would say it's a good show to watch. It's on, like I said, it was on Fox. I don't know if it's on Fox. Probably, maybe if you look on Hulu, I guess. And it's only 12 episodes because unfortunately they cut this one really quick. I'm trying to think. Like they aired it back in January, and then no, they aired it in September, and then they ended it the first month of January. I'm like, of the next year, yeah. I'm like, and mind you, it had good reviews. Like over 1 million people were watching it every night. And mind you, it was topping with The Resident when it was coming out.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Damn. That interests me because again, you saying Beyond the Gates, which I'm obviously a fan of, but that soap opera thing. I actually kind of want to research and see where I can find that. Like I said, I'll check Hulu tonight. And again, we're not trying to front for Fox or Tubi. I swear. But if you're looking for something, your best bet is to go Tubi because it'll just be random.
Yeah.
And they'll have you watch stuff you never I was watching Hunter the other night. Why?
Wait, from the 80s?
Dude, I'm not lying. I feel like doing one of those riff tracks of that show because I'm this is some wild ish right here. It's crazy.
It's been a minute since I've seen it. Yeah.
It's been a long time since somebody saw Fred Dryer. No, but that series sounds really good, and I love the cast of it as well. It's and to only have 12 episodes too, but I'll watch the hell of it. I don't care. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, because like I said, I feel like that was one of my shows that me and my mom would actually watch. But saying "Did you watch the show yet?" I was like, "All right, I won't say nothing. I'll shut up. Tell me to watch, and then we can talk about it."
Oh my god! But that's what I love. I love a series like that. What do you got, Robert?
So I guess for me, gonna take it to the animated realm. I have chosen Invincible Fight Girl. So Invincible Fight Girl is it was a show that was on Cartoon Network, and then it premieres the next day on HBO Max. So those are the only two places where you'd be able to find it. But I call it the brainchild of Justin Gordon Montgomery, and it is about Andy, a young girl who dreams of becoming the greatest professional wrestler of all time. So I have friends around me, including Antonio, who are big into wrestling. Like me, I guess you could call me a casual. I go to the pay-per-views at one of my best friends' house, Abiba, shout out to him. I watch it, follow it on social media. But I have people who I know are really, really into wrestling. So they're usually, if anything pops up that's within that realm, I try to suggest this. Suggest those things. And this was a show that I was riding hard for because it has an anime influence with the comedy, the storytelling, the action. But when you get down to the actual matches, the theatrics of professional wrestling, the move sets, the lore, the history, the fighting, it all comes together in this like colorful, fantastical, over the top animated series.
Mhm.
And at the forefront of this is a young black girl with an afro. Like I who just wants to be the greatest professional wrestler of all time. And you see so many influences in this series that it just it's this weird hodge. It's not a weird. It's a awesome hodgepodge of just all these loves that I think Justin had. So, but definitely, if you're a wrestling fan, this is something to add into the mix of watching AEW, TNA, WWE, whatever other wrestling you watch. I highly recommend this. The show ended in I think it ran for I don't have the episode count up here, but ran for 10 episodes in 2024. And unfortunately, we have yet to hear anything 2 years later about the show being renewed. So, like, officially, it hasn't been canceled, but it's like in this weird, nebulous state where they just haven't said anything. And one of the other things is that a few years ago, if anybody follows like the comic book news and like entertainment industry, um, Warner Brothers was going through this weird Time Warner was going through this weird thing where they were just canceling like animated shows left and right, shelving whole movies like the Batgirl movie, and then one of another animated show which had its run, but Craig of the Creek was like another kind of victim of this era. So unfortunately, we don't have news about this possibly coming back, but there's still a little bit of hope. So I still wanted to include it on the list because there's a chance that, 2 years later, if we ain't heard nothing, it's possibly canceled. And I follow this brother on even on LinkedIn, like the creator, just to see if he says anything. And I haven't seen any updates like either yay or nay, but if you get a chance, go check out the series. It's on HBO Max, wherever else you can stream Cartoon Network. And shout out to Cartoon Network because they are constantly taking chances on new and fresh ideas. And shout out to the Ianu team. But yeah, Invincible Fight Girl was a show that I wish we had more of, just some like crazy actiony stuff with Black people at the center. I enjoyed it a lot. I love the series. I love the series.
Yeah, I mean, as a wrestler, like you said, as a wrestling fan, this was just right up my alley.
Yeah.
I had the most fun with this, especially because I think AEW was still kind of fresh and new.
Yeah.
In a way. So this partnered perfect with it. You had storylines. You had this young girl training to be this great professional wrestler. She was supposed to be an accountant. That's what her family was, because there were two classes on this planet. You were either an accountant or you were a professional wrestler. Those were the two like sides of the world, which I've forgotten about. Like now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like,
well, that's in our hometown, remember? Yeah.
Yes.
In her hometown.
Yeah. And she was supposed to be, and she snapped in the office one day.
And before I forget, and what they would do is when you would have the wrestling league would shoot if you called for a match, they would shoot the wrestling ring from a satellite from space, and then it would just blow up the area, and then you would just jump in the ring, and fight. But yeah, it was crazy.
It was this was you had a lot of great the Rolando Watts was on this, who I'm a huge fan of.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Baker.
Yep, Tony Baker.
Tony Baker was on. As I remember hearing the voice, I was like, "Is that Tony Baker?"
Yeah.
And I looked at the credits. I was like, "This brother is on." I was like, "Yes!" Like that was so cool to me to see that. This was just such a great series, and I loved it. And again, being a professional wrestling fan, being an anime fan, being an animation fan, and seeing this young Black girl training, and she was training so hard to get these moves and to learn, because all she knew was to be an accountant. Yeah. She's going from an accountant to a professional wrestler. But some Black professional wrestlers like Hangman Adam Page, who was a teacher.
Mm.
Like, so they have like these, obviously these 9 to 5 like regular jobs, obviously, in life, and then they have this calling or whatever, like whatever it is they feel to become a professional wrestler. I mean, yeah, going from a teacher to a professional wrestler is kind of a why thing like that. But the fact that you were either an accountant or you're a professional wrestler on this planet, I forgot how that the show is so crazy, so much fun. I want to say it kind of partnered up with My Adventures with Superman.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think they were in this around the same time. I want to say, because when I heard season 2 was coming out, I was like, oh, so Invincible Fat Girl season 2's got to be coming out, right?
You thought.
Yeah, sadly. So, yeah, this is definitely another one I would recommend go back watch, because it was just so cool, and it was just, yeah, that show used to have me just laughing and just feeling so good. I used to love it. Awesome. For me, my next one, this was a very short-lived one, but it was great. This is Superstition. And I'm not talking about the Stevie Wonder song, because some of you have probably never heard of this series, unfortunately. Superstition was basically about this family that owned a mortuary, a funeral home. I want to say it was in New Orleans.
Yeah. Yeah.
But turns out that they were actually like monster hunters, demon hunters, what have you. There was even a very loosely thrown in line that could have possibly linked them to supernatural.
Oh wow.
In the very first episode, Mario Van Peebles, who plays like the head of the family, who ends up having this really crazy backstory, and I was like, oh, that's dope. Of course, it got canceled. The I want to say the oldest son, the wayward son, comes back from the military. He was in the Marines. He was fighting in the Middle East. Comes back home and he wants to be a part of the supernatural family hunting business, what have you. And they go into the trunk, and he goes, "Oh, what you got in there? A shotgun, a revolver, a knife?" He goes, "What you think this is? Dean's car?" And he closes and I was like, "That's canon. That's canon. I don't care what y'all say. That's canon." And I loved it, but it had that. But it was basically supernatural, but a black family.
Yeah.
That's what it was called, Superstition. This could have been a perfect vehicle to be a spinoff of that if they had like linked it more to that, but not too much. And it didn't last very long. It was on Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
Then you could stream it on All Black for a minute. Now it's not on there. If you want to get it, I'd have to find the Blu-ray DVDs. Let's be honest, they probably just have it on a DVD. And that's not me trying to throw a slight. That's just being real. Or you can buy it on Amazon as well. This was a series that was cool. I love the idea of it, and it turned out at a certain point they realized, because they started switching the episodes around, so it was hard for me to catch. But it started end up that Mario Van Peebles' backstory was that he was a Moor and he was a knight, and he was immortal.
Oh wow.
And he had been hunting these monsters and demons for centuries. I believe it was to appease someone that he had wronged, or someone who had cursed him, I think, with immortality. And I was like, that was so cool, because I love stories of like cursed immortals. Jason Blood was one of my favorite parts of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. I absolutely love that character of someone being cursed with immortality and them trying to atone. And then at a certain point, that they're not trying to atone for their curse; they're just trying to do good things for the world because they've seen how things have gone. There were beautiful black people. They had a young sister who was in the mortuary. She was who kind of came up with the tech. It was just this really cool thing that we could have had. And, unfortunately, we only got one season. But I want to say, again, things like this are, we have a bit of root. It was out. Lovecraft Country. There are other stories that we have out there. Crescent City Monsters.
Yeah.
There are stories out there that are based on Jason Wise, Maury and the Black Knight. Like, I could keep going, stuff like that. But this was just a really cool series. I love the whole feel and the vibe of it. I even love the poster for it. It was just a beautiful black people that are going to get down in supernatural monsters. So yeah, this was a cool one. If you can find it, it's not on Tubi, so don't even say that. Because I love it. I look every month. I scour that search bar, and I know it's not there because I want to watch it. But yeah, so if you're able to check out Superstition, it's a really cool series, or I should say season that was on Sci-Fi. What have you got next, Robert?
So for me, the next one is The Residents. The Residents came out on, I think it was last year, 2025, and it wow, IMDb messed up with the summary. So it stars the main character is played by Uzo Aduba, and also the series has Giancarlo Esposito and Molly Griggs, but Uzo Aduba, she plays Cordelia Cup, and what happens is it's a it's a murder mystery comedy. So like if you've ever watched something like Clue or even
okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and the Knives Out series.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, because murder's funny. Or even Psych, Psych or like Monk. So it has that kind of vibe. But basically, there's a I don't know if is he the head. He's not the head butler. Giancarlo Esposito. His character is he's a part of the the staff at the White House, and he is in the first episode. There's no spoiler. He's murdered. They find his body. There's an event. I think there's a party taking place at the White House, and Cordelia Cup is brought in to investigate the crime. And this is the show is Shonda Rhimes. This is a part of Shonda Rhimes's takeover of Netflix, or the deal that she has with Netflix, where she's just done a lot of stuff, and the cast in this is pretty stacked. Like I said, Uzo Aduba, Giancarlo Esposito, Molly Griggs, Randall Park, Jason Lee, Bronson Pinchot.
Balky,
yeah, Balky. Al Franken, who plays and Aaron Filkins in this series, and but it's funny. There are a lot of twists and turns as far as who done it. There are some serious moments, as with anything from Miss Rhimes, and it was awesome because you had a Black woman at the forefront of this type of show, or this type of like mystery. Somebody has called it like a screwball comedy mystery, but she was a Hercule Poirot. She was the what is the guy, Sherlock Holmes of this series, and it was just so good. It was so good. And the plan was to have her go and investigate different crimes, because apparently she had this like renowned reputation across the world of solving the unsolvable crimes. And she was a bird watcher. So I highly recommend going to check out the series. I think it runs for like 8 to 10 episodes. Unfortunately, because Netflix be Netflixing, they canceled it. And for me, I'm just like, what's the budget of a show like this as compared to something like, which is like huge, which has a bigger budget? I think that you could get at least 2 or 3 seasons out of this, and at least have people feeling like the story has been told. So it's unfortunate. Unfortunately, it was canceled. I think we could have had many more of Ms. Cup's adventures. But yeah, I recommend checking this out if you're a fan of some of the other series and movies that we were just kind of mentioning, which are kind of have the same vibe. But yeah, another another one from Miss Rhimes, from Shonda Rhimes.
I think this one, I would have rather had it been a limited series or a movie, and then made a series of movies. I think when this came out and started hitting, they were already making plans for like more Knives Out stuff.
Yeah.
Which, if anything, if possibly, maybe they could have had a crossover between the two characters.
Man, that would have been amazing.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you can have 2 really cool things at one time.
Yeah.
You honestly totally can. So I think something like this is great, and Uzo has done obviously great work for Netflix. I mean, uh, she got her name really plastered up there from Orange Is the New Black.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you bet on someone who's almost like a homegrown star for you, someone who made one of your biggest series? Why wouldn't you go with that? You know what I mean? So that sucks as well. What's another one that you got, Joppa?
So another one I have is called Found. It was on NBC, and this one, it kind of reminds me along the lines of Law and Order, but just not in regards like all like like the sexual assaults and stuff like that. It's like when people go missing. But my main reason why I wanted to watch it was because of the actor. No, I'm not talking about Zach from Saved by the Bell. I'm actually talking about Shanola Hampton, who was from Shameless. Because like I said, when I saw her, I was like, oh, she's in something new. I want to watch it. And then when I realized that, when I saw what's the name, Mark Paul, was it Gousler? I'm like, you look familiar, and I'm like, oh, you're Zach, okay? Because you know why he has a full beard. Didn't recognize the man.
Zach Morris is trash.
But pretty much, Chanel's character is kind of like not a vigilante, but like she helps find people that go missing, wherever the case may be, where like somebody was missing for like a week, or somebody might miss for like a month, and like she has a whole team. She has like one person that can check computers, another person that she kind of like works with the police, who I also didn't realize was also a voice and actor model for Until Dawn. And I'm like, oh, and I didn't realize that was also the witness in Destiny. So I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, this show is good because every episode something happens that's different, but it still has a main story. And also Mark Paul's character, he's technically held hostage the entire time, most of the time, because of his tendencies of being a weird creep pervert type of thing, and he kind of helps
character.
Yeah, the character, and he kind of helps out his kidnappee to help find other people that were kidnapped. But it was a good run. Unfortunately, they say that they concluded the series, but they just pretty much canceled it, and they left a few things opened. And I'm like, you could have gotten another season, because they had two seasons, both giving out like 35 episodes, which is like, it's a nice run, but I'm like, I can't like yeah. I think season one had 13, and then season 2 had 22 episodes.
Damn. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's a good series to watch if like you like the whole Law and Order-ish, like trying to find people scenario, and like obviously other dramas involved too, and also those people that have like issues with like because I think one of the characters who helps like rig the system, he was kidnapped at one point and he never leaves the house, so he has like that PTSD of like ever leaving his home again, because he has this whole thing part. Like he door dashes his food where he doesn't leave his house, period, until a certain extent. So you see like how that affects people, like once either they're like returned, or if they go missing for a long time, how do they like readapt back into real world society. But no, it's a really good show. It was I was watching it through Peacock because it was on NBC, but since they have like that thing where like you watch like the next day after from NBC, so you can still watch it on Peacock. I'm pretty sure. I think you can also watch it on Netflix as well.
Yeah, that's on Netflix. So I think it came out a couple of months ago on Netflix.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, so if you're interested in that, like it's a good series to watch. So like give it a try.
Yeah, this was one that was cool. I love the fact of this Black woman having a firm where the whole thing is to find the missing children or the missing people that no one else is looking for, which was really hitting a point in our society because we are not looked for. Unless
Yep.
we make a big enough stink, we're not looked for. But they'll send the
Mhm.
FBI, and they made a point of saying that too. They're like, this girl has been missing for X amount of time, and nobody's been looking for her. Meanwhile, this blonde white girl's been missing for like a day or so, and you've got the press is here,
Yep.
the police force is all over. So they made a great point of doing that, and how they showed the trauma in
Mhm.
each character, because they
Mhm.
each went through something as far as like being missing or being taken or held hostage, was incredible. From the mother going to the bus station every night,
To look for her
waiting
son.
for her son. Yeah.
And that was also interesting, finding out that whole backstory.
It's
Wild.
I haven't finished the second season.
Okay, so when you
So I'm not
watch
yet.
it, you'd be like, oh damn, oh damn.
It was just such a great story, a series, I should say. Like I said, I'm in the middle of the second season, because I
Okay.
started watching the second season, and then they were like, "Come on, man, come on, baby." I said, "That's fine." So, since we're talking about Mark Paul Gosselaar, I'm going to talk about a show called The Passage.
Man,
Bruh,
another Fox show,
right?
another Fox. God,
Fox at a point was doing some cool stuff.
Well,
Then they said,
they were taking chances on genre television,
Yeah.
and unlike other nations, other channels. But yeah, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
That was all. That was all.
Yeah. So basically, this was the story of this young girl who has she's been targeted by this government agency, this like shadowy government agency, because she may be the cure for this virus that may cause this total destruction of society on a global level. And an agent has been sent after to get her. Instead, he decides to protect her, and that's the part of Mark Paul Gosling. At a certain point, he actually, I think he said at a point, he said, "You know what? I think I started taking roles to make up for Zach Morris."
Oh damn.
And I was like, "Oh wow!" And it does make sense, because when you see some of the roles that he played, he was always supporting a black woman in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Because he was in that baseball series as well on Fox, where it was the first black female pitcher for an MLB team.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it might have been called The Pitch or The Dugout, something like that. That came out after The Passage. The Passage, I loved it because you saw it was almost like this mismatched like buddy cop thing, except it was this grown like a shadowy government agent, and this young girl who he's trying to protect, but she ends up learning from him, and he teaches her how to like protect herself and how to defend herself, and that the world is coming after her for so many different reasons. Not even people who know that she may be the cure for this virus, but just because she's a young girl and a young black girl.
Perverts.
Exactly. Predators out there who are in office now. So I said it, and he doesn't wash his legs. So I love this series because of that, and it was so cool. And I ran back each and every week to watch it, and it was based on a book. It may have been a series of books. I'm not sure, but it was based on like a book, and it was just so good and so just enriching. And I love seeing Mark Paul Gosling act as an adult, because he takes these kind of cool roles that are different, and he plays like these complex characters. This also got me into watching The Girl with All the Gifts, which was a movie about a young girl who may be able to stop the zombie apocalypse by being able to control the zombies herself. Yeah, that's a really cool one. So this was a series I loved. One season on Fox, unfortunately, but it was different, and they did end it in a way where I'm not sure how the book ended, but they did end it in a way where you could look at it as a limited series, because they did a time jump and they showed her in the future, and I was like, oh wow. And then I realized that the show was canceled. Unfortunately, that we weren't getting more of it or seeing how that came about. But yeah, this was one that I definitely enjoyed. The Passage. That's a deep cut, but it was a good series, and I really enjoyed it. We've only got a couple of minutes left, so real quick, let's give our last two choices. Just like give the name of them, just
Okay.
fine. Robert, go ahead.
So for me, last two were Raising Dion, which you can find on Netflix, and Cannon Busters, which you can also find on Netflix.
Great animated fare. Dion was, I remember that knocked people's heads off when they saw the first episode or the first trailer. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
It knocked people's heads off because it was something we don't get.
Yep.
And it was cool. What about you, Java?
For me, I have the Irrational that was on NBC, and then I also have Kindred, which is technically on FX on Hulu, so it wasn't Fox. If you want to put O in there, you can. Like, whatever you want to do.
Nah, but they cousins.
Because
They cousins.
They cousins.
Exactly, at this point, they are.
For me, I've got Woke, which is on Hulu. Jesus
Mhm.
Christ, this is like a damn Fox advertising. I swear to God, we're not advertising.
Sponsor.
If we had Fox money, believe me, you would know. There would be signs, and we would know. Believe me.
I just started
With
irritating.
Was that having Fox money?
I
You talking
mean, if we had Fox money, it would be a
It's on
little different.
DEI.
We would be the only case of DI apparently. Woke, which was about Heath Knight, who cartoonist, and he gets hit on the head and he starts hearing his cartoons and they're voiced by different like black comedians, stuff like that, and helping him trying to navigate the world as a black man who finally like is seeing color and like he getting it. The other one is Rap-ish or Rap-ish or Rap Shit. This is on HBO. You watch on Max. Two girls trying to start a rap career. One of them is like kind of socially conscious. She wants to really do something. She wants to be a voice. The other girl is, a little more out there, a little more just look kind of more influence-y type, I want to say. But I when it was canceled is when I started watching the show, and I was so pissed. I was like, God. Amazing show. Really loved it. Had a great feel, great fun. This is from Issa Rae, and it was dope. And I'm going to continue to watch it because it was just awesome. So that's our show for tonight. Look, there are a lot of shows out there, a lot of things that are canceled. I mean, hell, Robert brought up a movie that was canceled before it even debuted. With Batgirl. I still want to watch Batgirl. I still want to see why.
I forgot about that.
I still want to see that movie. I want to see it so badly. I really do. I wish they would just put it out on
HBO Max.
Yeah, Max. Thank you. I could not think of the words. Hell, put it on Tubi. We already talked about it. Shit.
If Snyder can come back and get his cut, let them put out Batgirl, please.
Yeah, I really do. But there are a lot of shows, especially nowadays. There are a lot of shows that come out and that only get one season because there's a show every 2 minutes and things get canceled, whether it's on network or streaming services, what have you. Yeah. The only thing I can say, folks, is if your show gets canceled, I understand, be upset, what have you. But here's the thing: follow the actors, follow the writers, follow the directors, follow the whoever was on the show that you really dug. Follow them to their next project. Please do that, because not every show gets a damn Firefly comeback movie 1,000 years later.
Yeah.
Not for us. Definitely not for us.
Instead, we get remakes like Good Times.
Damn.
Jesus Christ. What the hell? So if your show gets canceled, I understand it. It's upsetting. It sucks. I still think about Altered Carbon. I do. Still do. Exactly.
I'm getting cut. I'm getting cut to the
But you know what I do? I like the show. I watch it over and over again because I enjoy it. But then I follow the actors, the writers, the people who I really dug on the show. I follow them to the next project and support that one. And maybe that'll be the one that sticks around, or the movie that gets a $1 billion opening, or whatever the hell numbers they want, or a huge streaming service premiere, whatever it is. But just do that. On that note, like I said, it's Wednesday. It's Happy New Comic Book Day. Go check out X-Men 97 season 2. I'm rewatching season 1 now, and I just did the episode Remember It. Gambit. Damn, that episode was so good.
Ugh.
The budget on the episode must have been ridiculous with those fights. Incredible stuff. But yeah, next week we'll have another episode. Robert's got a topic next week, and I am really trying to dig into my brain on some older ones that I really enjoyed. I'm not going to tell you what the show's about, but it's video games. It's playing with people. It's fun stuff. I remember before there was all the Wi-Fi and everything. Sometimes you just had the person sit next to you playing, and it was that couch co-op. I'm not going to tell you what the episode's about, but we'll be back for next week. And yeah, that's about it, folks. So hey, check it out every week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are here on the Hungry Bleak channel. But until then, I am Antonio Pomars, aka the Hungry Bleak, the Hungry Man in the Room. Take that however you like.
I am Jabba Chan, aka Melon Lord. If you're don't know that line, go watch Avatar. It's out on Netflix. Yeah, season 2.
Yes, season 2 just came out. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and I'm loving season 2. Robert Jeffrey II, aka Rob the Writer. I write in these streets. There you go.
Yep.
You're.
Yay. Oh, crazy. It's ridiculous. And that is our show. You have a very good evening. Enjoy the rest of it. Please be safe. Drink water, especially this week. It's a very hot week.
My God.
It's going to be in the hundreds. Please drink water. Check on your neighbors if you like. If neighbors are racist, then whatever. But if your neighbor is a nice person and what have you, just check on them. I mean, you know what? Racist bigots, nah. Homophobes, we leaving them.
Throw water at their door.
They can boil. And to hell with that. They can boil and bake. But yeah, be safe. Take your vitamins. Drink your water, like I said, and take your meds, whether it's for a physical, mental, or emotional ailment. I'm not trying to please you. I just want to make sure that you being the best you that you can be, because it's hard out here, honestly. And an empty cup cannot pour into anything else, folks. Remember that. So, see you next week. And I'm going to go get some ice and put it in my ears. It's ridiculous. I'm tired of this.
Damn.
I don't like the heat. I cannot.
Who does?
I would much rather have it be wintertime. I prefer that. I would rather shovel than sweat the minute I get out the shower. That's disgusting. But I still wash my legs. Have a good evening, folks. We'll see y'all later. Bye. Every episode. I don't care. Every episode I'm going to bring it up. Wash your legs.